Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video. Today we are ranking all of the fans that came to the CBS Coventry City's ground this season. That's all of the Championship fans and Wrexham because they came in the FA Cup game as well. I'm a Coventry City season ticket holder, so I do get to pretty much every game and get to see what all the other fans are like. So this is just one man's opinion. Some Coventry fans might disagree with my opinion, but this is just my opinion as a Coventry fan. Do let me know your thoughts on the Coventry fans this season, and do let me know on your experience at the CBS if you did come to visit Coventry. Before we get into the tier list, do make sure of course to hit that like button. We'll go for 200 likes on this video, and do make sure of course to subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into the tier list. So then guys, how this video is going to work is we are using a tier list. We've got 4 categories on it. Class, for the best fans that came to the CBS. Second, we've got great, which is also some pretty good fans. In the middle, we'll go for decent fans. And at the bottom is the poor fans, pretty much the worst fans that came to the CBS this season. The 23 other Championship badges are scattered across the bottom here. We've also got Wrexham, as we did play them at the CBS in the FA Cup. So 24 teams to get through. We'll go through it in order of when we played them this season. So we'll kickstart with Preston North End, who were the first team to come to the CBS this season. Feels like a long time ago. Coventry didn't get many home games in at the start of the season, and when we did get a home game come around, it was Preston, which was a bit annoying because they are a bogey team. They did beat us 1-0. They brought 945 fans. I thought they made some decent noise, decent limbs when they scored. We'll kickstart this tier list with Preston going in the decent category. Next up, we have Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough was our second home game of the season in October. Like I say, really weird start to the season for Coventry at the CBS. Middlesbrough, we did beat 1-0. It was our first win of the season. Funnily enough, Coventry and Middlesbrough were both in the relegation battle when this game came around, and at this moment in time, Middlesbrough are 4th and Coventry are 5th. So goes to show how far these two teams have come. As I say, we won and we kept a clean sheet as well, so we didn't get to see any Middlesbrough limbs. But if you consider how far away Middlesbrough is and the fact that they brought 2,500 fans and made quite a bit of noise, I'm going to put them in class. I know it seems like a long time ago, this game, but Middlesbrough fans are some of the best in the league, and they brought loads of numbers, made some decent noise, didn't score, but I'm still going to put them in class. Next up, we've got Burnley. Burnley was our third home game. We lost this one 1-0. Burnley have just been incredible this season. As for the fans, they brought 2,000 fans to the CBS, which was a pretty good turnout. I think they were doing pretty well at the time. They had drawn a few games at the start of the season, but like I say, they came, they won. Decent limbs when they scored. They just kept a clean sheet. They did a job on us. And yeah, they made a fair bit of noise. I feel like the Burnley fans are going to go in great. Some of the better fans we've seen at the CBS this season. Next up, Sheffield United, the other team that have been promoted with Burnley automatically this season. Sheffield United fans are really good. I do like Sheffield United fans. I do like going to Bramall Lane. When this game came around, I think Sheffield United were in the top 2. They brought 2,000 fans on a midweek game, so that's a pretty good turnout from the Blades. But they didn't score. We didn't get to see any limbs. We beat them 1-0 in fact. I think the turnout was good. The noise was pretty good. They've probably had better away days this season than when they came to Coventry. I'm going to say Sheffield United can go in great. They are some of the best fans in the league. On this occasion, I'm going to put them in great. Next up, Rotherham United, another midweek game that we had. Rotherham was a 2-2 draw, and to be fair to them, they brought 1,000 fans, which was a decent turnout. I don't know what I was expecting from Rotherham, but that was a decent turnout. Decent noise, a decent game to be fair. It was 2-2. I'm going to say Rotherham United's fans were decent, so let's put them in that category. Next up, Blackpool. Do you know what? I'm gutted Blackpool have gone down because they have got some of the best fans in the league. Now, when they came to Coventry, they only brought 900 on a Saturday, but it was the noise they made, which is making me put them in class. Blackpool fans are really passionate. Like I say, they didn't bring the most fans we've seen this season, but they were singing all game long, and it really kept the atmosphere going. They won as well. They beat us 2-1 despite them being relegated this season. They did win at the CBS, and their fans were really good. So Blackpool fans, I'm saying you're in class. Next up, Blackburn Rovers. Blackburn Rovers was a Tuesday night game. We beat them 1-0. Do you know what? They were doing really well at the time. They were in like the top 6 or something, but they only brought 790 fans, which I thought was not great. They didn't make a lot of noise either. Wasn't a great game for them because we beat them 1-0, but I don't know. I think they were probably some of the worst fans we've seen this season. I'm not sure if it's just because it was a rubbish game for them, but they didn't bring many, didn't make much noise. For this, I'm going to put Blackburn Rovers in poor. Next up, Wigan Athletic, another midweek game that Coventry City had at the CBS. I'm also going to put Wigan Athletic in poor. I've got so much sympathy for the Wigan fans that are really behind their team and do follow them, but they didn't bring many numbers. They brought 600, and at the time, Wigan were actually doing okay. This was before they slipped down towards the bottom three. They didn't make a lot of noise. We did beat them 2-0. I think Wigan Athletic have got to go in poor as well. I think they brought the lowest numbers we've seen this season. Next up, Queen's Park Rangers. I don't know what it is about QPR, but they seem to bring absolutely loads when they come to Coventry. They did last year when they came and beat us 2-1. They brought 4,000 fans. And on this occasion, they brought 3,700, which is absolutely fantastic support. They didn't make a lot of noise from what I can remember. I don't think it was a great game for them. We did beat them 2-0, but the numbers was really impressive. I'm going to put QPR in great. I think the numbers literally speak volumes. But like I say, it probably wasn't the best away day for them. Didn't get to see any of their limbs. But yeah, fantastic support to be fair. QPR, great. And fair play on staying up this season. Swansea City, this is probably the most bonkers league game we had at home this season, drawing 3-3. We were 3-0 up and we threw it away, and the Swansea fans that travelled to see their team come back were absolutely loving it. The fans that came were quite good. In terms of the numbers, they brought 1,200. I'm going to say Swansea were decent. To be fair, on a Saturday, 1,200 from Swansea to Coventry, it's a decent following. West Bromwich Albion, I didn't actually get to go to this game. I have got a season ticket, but I missed this game because I was ill. I watched it on TV, and from what I could see, the West Bromwich Albion end was absolutely packed out. I think they brought 4,500 fans, which is incredible. They did lose, but to bring that many fans for a weeknight game is incredible. And from what I've been told by the Coventry fans that went to this game, they made quite a bit of noise. I've got to put them in the top category, haven't I? They've brought so many fans and they made so much noise. West Bromwich Albion are going in class. Cardiff City. Ooh, Cardiff City. To be fair, for a nighttime game, to bring nearly 2,000, that was incredible support from them. It was a 0-0 draw, which meant it wasn't a great game and not a lot of noise from the fans. But in terms of the numbers, quite impressed by Cardiff City. I think I'll stick them in decent. Like I say, it wasn't the most electric atmosphere, but they did bring a fair few fans. Bristol City. This was like New Year's Day. It was a 1-1 draw. It was an okay game. They only brought 1,200, and I've seen Bristol City bring 3,000 on a couple of occasions at the CBS. So this time round, I was a little bit disappointed by their numbers. I know at the time they weren't having a great season. They scored a goal. The limbs were okay, but yeah, probably decent for Bristol City. They are some of the best fans, I'd say. They can be some of the best fans in the league, but on this occasion, they were okay. I'd say they were decent. Next up, Wrexham. Wrexham have to go in class. I know bringing 4,500 is amazing, but it obviously was a massive game for Wrexham to get to a championship away day in the FA Cup. They were always going to bring loads, but do not let that take away from how much noise they made and the fact that the game was that crazy, that they got to see 4 goals and they didn't shut up once. They were absolutely generating so much noise, and the atmosphere was electric for this game. I do remember they quietened down a little bit when Coventry got it back to 4-3, and their fans were probably on the edge of their seats a bit, thinking, oh God, we better not throw it away. But yeah, an absolutely bonkers game, probably one of their best away days ever. Wrexham have got to go in class. Their fans were first class. Norwich City, another bonkers game. We lost this one 4-2. Norwich have got to go in class. This was a Saturday game on Sky Sports, lunchtime kickoff, and they brought like 3,000 fans. One thing I said when I did my vlog for this was Norwich have brought so many fans and fair play to them. It's a long journey. And then I had a couple of Norwich fans commenting saying it's one of their most local journeys. So it just goes to show how far Norwich have to travel to get to every away game. But they brought loads. At the time, they were doing okay. David Wagner came in. They picked up back-to-back victories. And like I say, they scored 4 goals. They made a lot of noise. Their fans were really good with their tribute to their young fan who had passed away. I think Norwich have to go in class. Some of the best I've seen. Huddersfield Town, Coventry City won this game 2-0. It was at a point where Huddersfield Town were not having a very good season at all. It was just before Neil Warnock came in, and yeah, they only brought about 900 fans. It'd be harsh to put them in poor. I'll put them in decent. They didn't make a lot of noise. Fair play to the fans that did come. But like I say, this was at a time when Huddersfield was struggling. Their fans can be quite good. They did bring a few thousand last season. So on this occasion, I'll put Huddersfield in decent. Luton Town are next up. Luton Town brought about 3,000. I feel like Luton Town are some of the most underrated fans in the division. I'm actually going to put them in class. Luton Town always make a lot of noise. I went to both Coventry versus Luton games this season at Kenilworth Road and at the CBS. They make a lot of noise. Good limbs when they score as well. And yeah, fair play to them. Good luck in the playoffs, except if they come up against Coventry, of course. Let's put them in class. Next up are Millwall. This was a midweek game, so Millwall only brought 800 fans. Still a lot of respect to the fans that did come. Wasn't an amazing game, especially from a Millwall fan's perspective, because they lost 1-0. They made a bit of noise. They kept doing the mill thing. I think I'm going to put them in decent. They can be some of the best fans in the league. They didn't bring many, but yeah, on this occasion, we'll put them in decent. Sunderland are up next. Sunderland have to go in class. No matter what your opinions are on Sunderland, whether you love them or hate them, they are one of the best supported teams in the league, if not the best. They've got the biggest stadium, they get the biggest home crowds, and they brought, what, 3,000 fans down to Coventry for a lunchtime game on Sky Sports. They made a bit of noise. They brought a lot of numbers, to be fair. They did lose. They don't seem to do too well when they come up against Coventry. But yeah, you've got to give it to them. The numbers that they bring, Sunderland, got to go in class as well. Hull City. This was the only other game that I didn't get to go to this season, and that was because my son was born on this day when we played Hull City. They did bring 2,500 fans, which is actually really, really good. The limbs looked pretty good when Estupinan scored his goal, and yeah, pretty good Hull City. You've got to say they are pretty good fans, to be fair. I'm going to put them in great, which I'm quite surprised by because I think last season they only brought a few hundred when it was on a midweek game. So Hull City, you're going in great. Stoke City are next. They've got to be the biggest surprise this season and probably the biggest surprise result. They beat us 4-0 and as you can expect, their fans were absolutely on cloud 9. They were so loud through that game. They were singing all day long, and obviously the Coventry fans weren't at their best because we were losing 4-0, and I think a lot of us had seen enough come the final 20 minutes. Stoke have got to go in class. They brought 2,700 and yeah, they were just so good. Next up, you've got Watford. Watford brought, what, 1,900 fans? That's pretty good, to be fair. A bit disappointing from their perspective how the game played out. They were 2-0 up. They were doing really well in the first half. They were making a bit of noise. Second half, they threw it away. The Coventry fans got on top. You've got to put Watford in. You've got to go in great, really. To bring that many numbers, pretty good. In terms of the noise they made, also pretty good. The game itself was also pretty good. I'm going to put them in great. Next up, Reading. Ooh, Reading. They brought over 1,000. It was about 1,500, I believe. A bit disappointed for them to be relegated. I thought they played okay at times. They came to Coventry and their fans made quite a lot of noise when they equalised, singing that Lucas João song, which was quite good. But then 2 minutes later, Coventry City scored and their fans quietened down a bit. I'm going to put Reading in decent. Last up then, you've got Birmingham City. Now, Birmingham City are some of the best fans in the league, in my opinion, in terms of the noise that they can make and the numbers that they can take on the road. Absolutely fantastic. And they brought 4,500 to Coventry, which is lots and lots of fans, as you'd probably expect, though, because it is down the road. But the disappointing thing for the Birmingham fans is the fans turned up, but the players didn't turn up. The fans did make a bit of noise. They did chant every so often during the game, but because the players gave such a poor performance, it was probably quite difficult for the Birmingham fans to really try and generate lots of noise through the game. For that reason, I'm actually just going to put Birmingham in great on this occasion, even though I do hold them as one of the best in the league. But just because it wasn't a great game for them, and that's probably had a bit of a knock-on effect with the noise that was made, I'll put them in great. They are some of the craziest fans. Some of them decided to trash the Coventry City toilets and stuff, but that's just a few idiots. I'm sure most of their fans are good football fans. and let's put them off in great. That'll wrap up the tier list. So then guys, that wraps up today's tier list. Do let me know your thoughts on it down below. It's okay if you disagree, but do share your own thoughts, of course. As I say, do make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.